Okay, this is a very quick one. To go over this one, we have to go over the fact that I need a reminder there are three types of freedom. And we're going to go over the fact of Miss, Miss Cross's behavior, who's been. Now, here on this particular one, which was Jan 6 reveals Pence hidden parking garage during the investigation. Now, earlier when you go on the Wayback Machine, she's been very kind and polite to this guy. Now she pulls some bullshit, let me be some positive. But then she asks the gentleman to speak, and then she throws him under the bus. And she's very good at making it look like as if, and then she side eyes him and just treats this guy like shit. Treated that gentleman who she brought on like crap, and she does that to every black man. I've noticed. And it's not just that. That's the behavior that a lot of black American women have. And she's a little gangbanger, judging from her body rhythm. I have stated that she is either an active or was an active Crip. These are micro rhythms that match other persons who do. And she even made her little try to state that it wasn't her. It was she's just being black. It was FAMU. But even in that statement, that her behavior was just being black or her behavior was just being FAMU, because she went to FAMU is Florida A&M University. Um, she was saying that was her behavior. So in essence, she was saying, because she states she's the thing of Miss Blackness. Well, being Miss Blackness by her behavior then means disrespect working black and African American men. She was disrespecting both of these gentlemen actually. Uh, she's very subtle about it, and it's just the behavior of black and African American women in general. And right now, there's like I think there's videos where the youngsters are going out. Oh, you can't tell. Oh, I'm faking it. I'm faking it. This is all fake. And it's just the way of the meme itself to try to hide and try to say, oh look, uh, yeah, we wouldn't do this thing. But the thing is, for the videos to be believable, those behaviors have to be believable as well. For such crappy behaviors that they're faking or making, like these, oh, people wouldn't, yeah, we're trying to fake fool you. And a lot of that, it has to do with what it's BS. And a lot of this is Miss Cross disrespecting people, especially black African American men. And it's like this one in the East LA gang was what he said was very. You know what I mean? And that behavior is definitely, and it's funny, this guy, he had said the exact same thing. But here's something where what happens when there's not a man in the neighborhood, or there aren't men. You get a bunch of kids and a bunch of gangbangers who have no respect or self-respect for other persons, and you get the situation, the increasing violence uh, in the neighborhoods. You can now hear argument like, "Well, those white folks did it to us," blah blah blah. Yeah, but you're doing it to yourself. You know right from wrong. They know that this is wrong. Yes, they, because of unfair policing and stuff like that, you have situations like in East LA, but you also have a situation in Ferguson where 40% of the population is black African American. Yet there weren't any people who sat on the county commissioner. There weren't any. There wasn't a high number of persons in law enforcement. As long as African Americans continuously, because for gangbanging, and this was the '80s, it's the I could say the war on drugs, because what we've learned is, but this was a structure that they exploited. The female African American female, when they first attack the straight African American black male, is they'll first go to the gay persons to get validation, and then they'll, when they can't get their way, they'll go to the gangbangers. And you're sitting there, say you're just a working stiff, and now these gangbangers are extorting you from your business, or they're threatening your family, all because your little daughter decides to go off and do some stupid shit. Now, if you go off and you do lose your shit and you do become violent, then they kill your family. And so she's saying, her Tiffany's behavior is saying these motherfuckers are more important than the rest of the Black African American community. And this is the way, and this is how Black African American women have kept their neighborhoods part of the way in poverty. And all the black women are gonna be all pissed off. There was this thing where Joy Reid, at the exact same around the same time they were that this came out, which was the 18th of June. Joy Reid was saying if you chatted her and all the black women were like, oh, the future is, whatever. And it was really all these black African American women getting together and going, okay, this is really, we need to quit with our bullshit. And they're all educated, all very high powered women. But this little fucking 10-year-old, 2-year-old still wants to play clever. Because her whole goal is, well, I'm not playing. I'm playing. I'm acting like I'm playing, but I'm not playing. And she's already done this behavior multiple times already. And then she throws under the thing with Africa. She does these little things, just and so she can say, well, just because I said I could go along, but I didn't say I was going to go along. Well, that's what children do. And then you're going to say, well, it's just because I just disagree with. No, it has nothing to do with the disagreement. It is you're a disrespectful little shit with way too much power. And this is what really got me. Is here's Malcolm Nance going into Ukraine. He's what, 50, graybeard, decades and decades and decades of experience, and she did this one little devalue statement. She's very quick about it. She did this devalue statement to try to make it look like he was not heroic or courageous. Therefore, once again, telling her audience, which is probably a lot of black African Americans, you disrespect the educated, disrespect the the working man, disrespect your black man. That's what she says, and that's what black African American women do. And so she thinks, because the situation that is now, the opportunity that is 500 years in the making, that for both working class and working class Caucasians or European Americans and working class black African Americans, opportunity to use the United States to really to gain power. You have power in your hands, and her little BSing, her little behavior, her shitty behavior. Always got to do a little side thing. Always got a little side eye. Always got to be a little shitty about something. She has no fucking idea. A naval intelligence officer in his 50s, you want him on the front lines, that's the only way you're going to say he's courageous. You're full of shit, lady. Because I've seen every type of met a woman just like her. They were the biggest, most cowardice shits. And they're the ones who go hide behind the little fuckers after making a mess of things. And this is what happens when when the male is removed from the homes. And this was really right here. I'll just show. God dang it. This right here. This is right there. Right there. Statement. That is the biggest difference between all the other minorities cultures. What's yours is yours. What's mine is mine. But with the effeminacy of what's happened to the black African American culture, that kind of crap where there's no where there's, it's all about disrespect and then over the top anger because women's minds tend to react more to anger than they do to positivity, which is sad because they're actually more blind than most men realize. So you get this situation where the women are doing this, and then they go hide behind men. They act like pure shit. You know everything that Miss Lewis has done. Her behavior is pure ghetto black African American. No integrity. She's Miss the other thing opposite day. If you look good, I got to make you look bad so I can look good. It's just purely shit behavior. And what you know type of personality she's representing thinks that we're going to go through all this situation with Trump, and then on the other side, and then they'll just go, okay, thanks for all the hard work. Click, let me kick you to the curb, kick you out of the way, and then take over. No, bitch, that ain't happening. The people that you represent are the reason African Americans are poor. The power you think you have is minuscule and nothing. Your disrespect of black African American men needs to end because you represent the absolute worst of black African American. Period. The end. And you can try to say you're the blackness of it all. You're just a spoiled little brat who needed a fucking whooping, who's actually more afraid of men like this gentleman who's educated because you can't pull your bullshit all over him. That's just the African American woman being shitty. And it's back to this, just say, and that behavior of her, this is a normal thing that women do. Is okay. We're talking about this chick who rejected this dude, and it's no big. He's not rejecting this dude, but it's what he said. She's sitting there going through. She immediately turned him down when he said what he was going to do. She knew she could not control him, so therefore she has to turn him down. And she did everything in a way to hide her emotional set by trying to make his emotions off, to hide her insecurities. That's what it was about. It had nothing to do with, oh, he's boring, he's this, he's that. Well, I know for a fact when women likes a guy and they think there's marriage, they won't talk to him. These Caucasian women, because they've put him into a slot. I've dealing with that with one couple of women I've known. Oh, I'm not going to talk to you. That's you. You want it. They don't know I know this, but I could sit there and see all the maneuvering they're doing. And it's like, gosh dang, dude, you're not going to get to that by doing that. And they don't realize that. But that's what she was doing. That's why that was her behavior. And this is stuff that she cannot hide. Because as soon as he said that, she went into surprise and shock. Surprise. And then he was just doing it. He's like, well, no, she's not the prize. She's just pretty. You can get a lot hotter all around the world. Young man's had to find out Punani around the world is smoking hot and not for all this crazy. But that's the reason. This is what I've just been sitting around waiting for Miss Thing to get it through her head. But she was going to sit there and try to play and say, I'm in control of the black neighborhood. I say what the black neighborhood's about to be. Well, okay. Then, and what are you bringing it to? Oh, back to more poverty. I'm going to do the behaviors that create more poverty. And the joys of not being able to use my number. And so this is what this is what is going on with Black African America. This is the main reason. This is the reason they remove the fathers from the homes to using the 13th Amendment. And as long as they can keep you uneducated, you'll keep walking right into it. So, this, so here's the situation. Black African America is about to assert itself for the first time. And it's going to require a tremendous amount of cultural courage. European America knows Black African America because of black women and its control over the culture. Know that they will not fight when it's time to fight. We'll make hell of a lot of noise when it doesn't matter. Making noise about Black Lives Matter during Trump's thing. You knew nothing was going to get done. It was necessary to do, but now do you have the courage in general, in group, in mass, to hold a former president to an account? I think you don't. I really think that black African Americans don't. I don't think they will. European Americans are betting on the fact that you won't. But at the same time, there's a great deal of Republicans are hoping that black African America steps up. Well, by the same token, as I stated earlier, a long time ago, if they're gonna ask Black African Americans to say the Constitution, they're gonna pay them. You're no longer none of this BS. But would Miss Cross done the same thing in my position? Of course not. She wouldn't. Not with her behavior. And this is somewhat of the same type of behaviors of Miss Markle, at least Miss Markle's mom. And then Lady Markle shown her ass instead of going to finishing school in London for 90 days. And so she quit fucking up. Instead of saying, okay, I get it, stranger in a strange land, I need to learn a few things. Let me go learn. I say I want to do these things, but you're not doing the things that are necessary. And then you just start, just basically like her, like whatever her name is. She pulls the same bullshit. Say I'm going to do it, but then not really do it. And just being a selfish little shit. And this is what really is pissing off the Brits. So this is what have been doing, for, just avoiding for the last couple days, weeks, because Miss Cross thinks she's going to be the head queen. No, we saw what happened when your personality got in control of black African American. You disrespected the African American male, straight African American male, unless they were a gangbanger like yourself. You use, you just disrespect African American men, and then you, with your behavior, you tell everybody else to disrespect black African American men. And so you have no value except for to do what you're told, which is to disrespect black African American men. So, you know, you know, yeah, soon I'll be releasing a letter to the Speaker of the House to, before this, the 8th January 6th committee, sending a letter. I'll probably do it today, if it's today or before Wednesday, but definitely before Wednesday afternoon, which is one day tomorrow. Before the next committee meeting, which is 2 days from now, this will has to be sending both Schumer and Pelosi a letter stating that Trump is only a product of 50 years of Christian and white nationalist, you know, neo Nazis essentially using Christianity with big business blaming black African Americans as they've been siphoning money from everyone who wasn't in those groups, and even siphoning money from those people in those groups. It's just a great grift. But then using it to say that it's the scapegoat of black African Americans. Right now, black African Americans have people like Mitch McConnell and Trump by the throat, but people like her don't realize it, or are more trying to maneuver the old power structures in the neighborhood that cannot be, because her behavior is the reason you're still black African Americans, combined with this behavior where he's talking about how if you get one thing, everyone steals your shit. And he also said that there's no fathers in the home neither. You get this just crap behavior that you keep reinforcing. So that's all I got to say. That's why this is